What's going on, everybody? Payneblade back here again from server 1 representing ISE, and today guys we're finally doing the brand new tier list, which includes the Naruto Kage SR, the brand new Boruto, and we've even added in the brand new festival Naruto, the Rinne festival release that happened just recently, because we actually got the testing and showcase done. Now what we're going to do, guys, like we normally do, is we're going to go through the SSS list, then the SS, then the S, and then we're probably going to do A+ and those a little quicker just to get the content going. A lot of you guys have voted and you guys wanted to see an all-in-one tier list again, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to start off with Rinne. So without further ado, guys, because we have quite a bit to cover, let's just jump right into it. So first thing we're going to do, guys, is we're going to look at the actual SSS tier list. Okay, so the beginning, we're going to put all the characters here. Now keep in mind, guys, this is not in any order. It's just the people that belong in this tier list are going to be sitting here. So don't worry about it if they're out of order and you're wondering why. Again, there's no specific order. These guys are just the top of the food chain, and they're going to continue sitting there probably for quite some time until we see some new characters come out. But we're just going to put them up here right now, and then we're going to talk about where they all go. So this is going to be all the brand new SSS characters. Now from the last one to this one, there have been a few upgrades because of testing purposes, and we're going to go through that right now. So Daedra sits right up there again, not in any order. He's probably one of the best AoE nukes in the game, probably the best AoE nuke in the game now. So definitely, if you have him, you want to build him up in Arena. He just pretty much destroys everything that's a T unit and an A unit, and he does quite a bit of damage to D units as well too. And if you kill somebody, he gets crit damage up and a slew of other buffs that go along with it. So definitely dangerous to see in Arena and use. Kakashi OG, still one of the best characters, still one of the only two characters that has instant jutsu and hits like a Mack truck. I don't think Binato will ever create another character like this in terms of instant jutsu because they realize how OP it is. So he still sits up there. Sasuke Hebi, another character with a unique trait that has a damage increase rate every turn, and the only character in the game that has 2 stuns built in. His S2 and his Jutsu make him still one of the top characters in the game, and one of the original OG characters to come out. SMJ up there because he heals himself for a ton. He does a stun and a burn, and every time you lose if you lose 3 characters and you have 6 or less, he actually gives you a ton of buffs for guard rate and stuff. So super tanky, makes your party better, and really hard to kill in Arena, so definitely deserves it. Sai, one of the most unique characters, and probably the one that everyone's trying to build now because they didn't do it before. Now what makes him so unique is the fact that he's the only character in the game that gives chakra to every single character, even if it's not his turn, making a lot of the 5k plus vitality characters have instant jutsu on their second turn, making him invaluable practically in every single scenario, guys. Alright, brand new Itachi, in my opinion, the best character in the game, the ultimate buffer at this point. He has his from his LB2 all the way to his regular buffs. He gives you everything you want in a character, and probably my favorite character right now in the game, so highly deserves to be up there. And a brand new addition, which was SS before, and now it's going to be Sasori with all the brand new status effects, and the fact that he's a D unit that can nuke really hard and has a buttload of debuffs. Definitely deserves to be up there, guys. So there is your triple S Arena list. Now the SS list gets a lot bigger. So we're gonna go ahead and grab what we did here, guys. We're gonna grab some of the characters from this list. I'm gonna toss them in here as well too. Let's just go through this real quick, see if I can find them all. This is a little scattered, so I apologize for that in advance. But you're gonna probably see some characters you have, and some characters that you may not have, and you're wondering what they are, but they're gonna exist in this right now. Let's see if I can find my boy Gara. There you are. Mama Sakura OG. There you are. Alright, Hidan. Sorry guys, again, this is a little out of order. I'm trying my best here to get it all set up for you. Kamui, where are you? There you are. And then we have the new Naruto SR, which is an amazing character, guys. Highly recommend building him up. One of my favorite characters that have come out in a very long time. The brand new Rinne. Super good character, free to play, and probably one of the best festivals / holiday events we've ever had. I think maybe the only holiday we've ever had that's not a game related one. So this is going to be your SS list here. Now Kirin, I still think if you have him built up as an OG player, he may be SSS, but right now this is actually proper because a lot of new players who get him will still want to use him, but he doesn't belong in the top category any longer. He was there for the longest time as one of the best buffers in the game, but now someone like Itachi is there to take over. Data are still the best crit buffer in the game. Gives you crit rate, gives you defense down on status effects, gives you crit damage up, gives crit suppression. Still easily one of the best characters and has an AoE stun. So highly recommend using him, guys. SR Heavy, one of the best free-to-play characters and still available for a lot of new people coming in as an event. So if you are doing this, build him up, guys, especially if you didn't get the brand new Itachi, so you can't put the scrolls in him. Get this character up. He's the first character that ever has the status effect rate up, making all of your status effects such as stuns, burns, poisons, be more effective in terms of actually connecting. So if you have 35%, for example, I believe he gives you like 8% or 7%, you'll actually have a higher percent of landing those stuns and paralyzes, and plus he has a ton of guard rate options. So great tank. Gaara, still the OG original best tank in the game, has dropped off quite a bit because there are brand new T units and D units coming out with the same capabilities but better powers, but still sits up there pretty high up. Mama Sakura, still one of the best support characters in the game. Just brings a ton of buffs and debuffs and heals and an AoE stun to her. So definitely use her if you have her. Still build her up. I don't think she'll be replaced for a while. Hidan, really tanky. Makes A units a lot tankier. Has status suppression, so you can't actually land stuns and debuffs on him. Not debuffs, sorry. Stuns and burns and poisons and shadow stitches, etc. So he's actually a really hard hitting nuke as well too. So definitely deserves to be up there. Kamui, since it's fixed, back up here again. Deserves it. Has some of the best buffs in the game. The only caveat is you have to kill one of the opponents in that round that he does Kamui, either by him or one of your other characters, and that buff will go off and give everybody crit damage, crit rate, and I believe it's damage increase rate or attack up. It's one of the two. Maybe skill 2 I think has attack up actually, and his LB2 is fantastic, by the way. So complete buffer. Not as good as Itachi again because he has to kill somebody, but nonetheless still really good. Naruto SR. Naruto Kage SR is probably one of my favorite characters. He has a crazy attack in terms of his jutsu. He does a ton of damage and he gives attack up as well too, and he has a lot of other buffs such as crit rate up and crit damage up. So sorry, not crit damage, crit rate up. So fantastic character, guys. If you have him, build him. I believe the only caveat with him is the opponent has to have 50% HP or more, or perhaps I believe it's him actually that has to have it. So either way though, easily one of the best characters, will be used for a long time in a lot of content. Boruto UR, same thing. Amazing character. Has a ton of damage. Has the opposite buffs of Naruto SR. Well, Naruto SR buffs A's and does more attack buffs. Boruto does a good mix of attack and guard rate and guard damage rate reduction. So he does a lot of tanky and balance buffs for you. So really good character in Arena, and will actually replace a lot of tanks for that reason. And then the brand new Naruto Rinne, amazing character, guys. They give us such a good character to work with here. He has AoE confuse. He has attack up on himself. Pretty selfish character, but nonetheless, what you expect that in an A unit, and he just does everything right for an A unit. So being who he is and the kit that he has, I highly recommend, guys, everybody pushing him to about 6 or 7 stars by the end of this event. You have 28 to 29 days left, so get this going. You will not regret it. He will definitely pull his weight for you for a long time. All right, so let's jump into the S units for Arena. Okay, so we're gonna start off with where's my boy Sasuke Revenge. There he is. Now this list is going to be a little bit bigger, obviously. We're trying our best to now balance out, guys, the amount of SSS, SS, and S units, because we know it's a growing roster, obviously, and we're trying to say 10% of the triple S units should be maxed out at that point, and there shouldn't be any more than that. Let's see here, Toby as well. We have SMN, Asuma. Suigetsu, where is that? There he is. Yamato, Kovidmaru. That's the Orochimaru UR. If you guys are wondering who Kovidmaru is, we just all make fun of him for it. The way he looks so sickly. OG Jiraiya, Naruto, original Naruto Kage, and Orochimaru. So this is your S list. Now Sasuke will probably take the head on this one because he's got the new power creep numbers and he has really good debuffs. The problem with him is most of his kit is comprised of chakra up, and if you have someone like Sai or another chakra battery, it kind of defeats the purpose of having a lot of those things. But nonetheless, he still hits really hard and does really good damage. So Sarada UR now being used as one of the most use tribes now in the game as connected by feelings, I believe, with Papa Sasuke and Mama Sakura. Still a really good kit, a good support unit, especially, and has a 100% confused, just like Rin Naruto, but with the lower scale of damage. So that's why she kind of falls down there, where Naruto takes her place up there. Who else do we got here? Kakazu, still a really hard hitter, even though has the lower percentages, not the power creep percentages, still hits like a truck. Definitely one of the better characters to raise his damage increase rate up. Very selfish character, but does his job. As long as the opponent has 50% HP or more, he will do a lot of damage for you guys. Pain, very similar to Kamui, except the only difference is he's not as offensive. He's more of a defense-offense mix, so very similar to how Boruto and Naruto are. He'll be the Boruto of the group. Still a really hard hitter. Unfortunately, doesn't do quite as good buffs, in my opinion, as Kamui does, but still a really good unit to have up. CM2, now this one is very argumentative for me. Like, I wanted him to be SS, but I know my video that I made on him and the fact that I use him on my main team, you require to kind of be a lot faster than your opponent to take full advantage of his kit, especially his attack up trait. If you don't have that speed, he kind of becomes half useless, half good. But the one thing about him that makes him incredible is the fact that he's the only character with the built-in status effect rate, which makes his stun the best stun in the game in terms of landing and percentages. So definitely deserves S. Could arguably be SS depending where you are, but guys, don't sleep on him. He's still going to be one of the best characters in the game for Arena, especially. Toby, brand new power creep AoE character, SR especially, has a great burn, has a great stun as well too in terms of its damage, and also is a power creep character as I mentioned, but the only problem with him is his damage rate reduction on his trait only works on D units, although his S2 has a really high damage reduction rate and works on any one opponent that he attacks, so definitely deserves to be S because of that alone. Naruto, Sage Mode Naruto. Now, the thing with him is he's a D nuke. Unfortunately, in Arena, you don't fight many Ds, especially on many servers, unless you're in Server 6. Shout out to Server 6 on that one. But he's a fantastic character for a lot of PvE content, especially against D units. But for PvP purposes, he kind of falls off a little bit on that chain. He does do a lot of damage, does do crit up on himself, does heal himself, does do attack up on himself. But again, just kind of lackluster in regards to some of the other top units up in the game. Asuma, if you're looking for a really good guard rate tank and that someone who can survive quite a bit, he is fantastic for that. So if you're a brand new player looking for a good tank and you pull him, definitely build him up. You'll have a couple advantages in Arena for guard rate especially, which will reduce a lot of the damage you intake by having Asuma on your team. Alright, so Getsu, same scenario, except he has a more complete kit. We call him Minigara with crit suppression. So definitely one of the better tanks out in the game. COVID Maru, probably still one of the best and only debuffers for crit rate, making crit teams kind of nullified if he can stay alive. His crit rate down is pretty crucial for fighting people like Hebi or Kakashi or those guys. So definitely a really good debuffer if you need one and you're fighting a lot of people on your server who have crit teams. He'll help you out. Yamato, very similar to Sugetsu. The only difference is he has more crit suppression in him, and he has a lot of guard rate as well too. So really good tank. Itachi was a great nuke, still is a decent nuke for T units. The problem with him is you need to actually kill opponents in order to get his buffs to go off, especially on his LB2 and his trait. Kind of makes it kind of lackluster in that regard, and he's kind of fallen off in terms of damage. Sage Mode Jiraiya, oh sorry, no, it's regular Jiraiya, sorry. Regular Jiraiya actually is one of the best characters in the game for Tribe Gauge. Then there's another one called Blossom, Sakura Blossom, which we'll get to, and also Choji, but he is easily the best one, providing you a lot of buffs when he's alive and when he's dead. Naruto Kage, the OG version, very selfish character, still one of the hardest characters to kill though because his jutsu does a ton of damage to A units and it heals him, but still starting to fall off quite a bit now. And OG Orochimaru, which I personally still love, he has the only silence in the game, and if you don't know what silence does, it stops you from performing jutsus or any skills for 2 turns, and tribe gauges are also cut off as well as our co-op for that opponent, and it's at 60% chance, so it's a really high percent chance, and status effect rate does affect it to go up more. So really good character, highly recommend building him if you have him. Alright, now we're going to get to the A rank, guys. So the A rank is starting to get a little bit smaller as well as we go through the list. We're going to talk about some of the characters real quick here. Where is Hinata? Hinata, there we are. B, it's unfortunate, they'll never fix B, it sucks, but you know what, it is what it is. A, Kabuto, Sarada, Neji, where you are there, okay, Boruto, Naruto, Kankuro, there you are, Might Guy. There we go. As you see, like I said, it is quite the long list, guys. We're getting more and more shinobi as this game gets bigger and bigger, so it's starting to become a lot harder to keep track of everybody. But this is, and the reason why I'm doing it brand new rather than keeping up with it is because some of the positions have changed around a bit, so we're going to focus on that. There we go. That's your A list. All right, so Naruto UR. A+, still a hard-hitting nuke. Unfortunately, not available for everybody. That wasn't part of the OG game when it first came out, so you probably missed out on that, but still really good nuker. Unfortunately, a lot of us also missed the weapon fragment, so that's causing a bit of a problem for us as well, too. So still not a bad character, though. Rock Lee provides you crit up, attack up for himself, defense up for himself, does more damage when he has 50% HP or less. But unfortunately, with those numbers that he provides are a little lower than the newer characters, so he sits there. Hinata is still the best crit machine in the game for crit damage and crit rate. Unfortunately, just can't keep up with the numbers anymore with the power creep, especially being in place now. B's always been the most mediocre UR for stats. He continues to be. He does have a stun, which is great, and if he doesn't kill the opponent, he gives 77 to 80% defense up, so that is really good too, but it's only for one turn, so you kind of lose him off there. His brother A, unfortunately, as well too, is a D unit. Is the fastest unit of the game still, I believe, though. It does have a stun and provides buffs to only A units. So he has some limitations, but he's still a really solid unit. So highly recommend using him if you have him. If you're new, especially, he will put in a lot of work for you. Kabuto still the only character with defense down besides Mitsuki, and also is great for nuking D units with his LB2. And if you have a status effect on the character, his jutsu does more damage. Sarada is one of the best damage reduction rate characters on D units. Also has a burn and also has an attack up on her LB2. Neji, one of the only A characters that gives chakra and is actually a decent nuke, also provides crit damage up. So really recommend using him if you're a brand new character. Some of the high end characters still use him, like some of the high players, for his damage if you don't have Daedra. So he's a good replacement option, but he only does buff the cell. Darui, and he does give D units a lot more firepower, so making them a lot more powerful to hit, and they do hit a lot harder when he's on the team, and he provides a slew of buffs for D units to just be better. So if you're running a tank heavy team like an S6, he's a shoo-in for that. Boruto, still one of the best nukes in the game. Unfortunately, he's a glass cannon, so in PvP he will get one shot quite often by like newer characters, or sorry, some of the OP characters like Kakashi, Hebi, or even Itachi, and some of those new characters that are out, but still hits really hard, guys. SR Naruto, a good hybrid still for new characters. Like when you first start off, you get a lot of fragments for him, so he'll still do a lot of work for you. Still a really good character, a good hybrid tank and DPS. Kankuro, as the fight goes on and the more people you kill, he gets stronger, so not a bad option if you're looking for that and you need a good A nuke. Haku buffs A units, reduces defense and damage increase rate for a T unit, so if you find an opponent that has a lot of T units, he's a shoo-in. He'll make you a lot stronger and kill the opponent a lot quicker. Might Guy, he is a good tank DPS, also has a burn built in and has a couple other buff options. Chio, a UR with 3 different traits depending where you put her, in the front, middle, or end. Also does speed down on opponents and hits actually pretty hard with her jutsu now. Blossom, the other tribe gauge character that does a heal as well too, and also provides damage reduction rate. So good solid tank with some extra options. And Berserk Naruto, if you're looking for a basic nuke, he isn't bad, but he isn't that good either. So that is pretty much your A+ rank, guys. Now we're going to go to A. And this one is going to be a lot smaller now that the list is growing smaller. So let's go to that real quick. Conan, Mitsuki, Jugo, Karin. So this list I'm actually not going to go through. I'm just going to pop it up here for you guys so you guys can see who's there. If you need to look through it, shout out to Binato again for creating this on Reddit and putting this together, so you guys can give him a big hug and a couple emojis to show how much you love him for this. He and I have worked together on building this list and reviewed it, and I think it's actually worked out pretty well. So he has it on Reddit now, and you guys can always jump on there and check out the document if you don't want to see the full video. Alright, so Zabuza right here as well too. So this is pretty much your A units. Chakra Battery, AoE, still a trash can in my opinion. Damage reduction rate down, stun and healing wound, and AoE and defense down. Healer plus crit suppression. Healer and has a couple extra options plus chakra, chakra down, and tank. useless. I'm not kidding. I'm kidding. She's not useless. She's got a couple of buffs. She's a good D unit for tanking, but overall, just a mediocre unit in general. Healer plus defense up, Shadow Stitch and T units attack up, including damage reduction rate on one opponent, instant jutsu and attack up and damage increase rate up, and of course just a nuke, just a plain old nuke. B rank, we're gonna look at Choji. Here, I'm going to just put these up here, guys. So this is tribe gauge up, sorry. Tamari, heavy wound and buffing A units attack. Where's 1010? Attack buff, guard suppression, as well as stun. Sorry, I'm coming off all on top of my head here. I'm not even reading anything on Reddit. Sorcery, defense down, chakra down, poison. And then lastly, Konohamaru for his defense up. Pretty much I always say that he's a D unit built on a T unit's body, which is really weird to me. And then Shino, and then unfortunately our boy here isn't. So there you have it, guys. That is the arena tier list. So that will take 20 minutes. So we're gonna try to do this a little quicker this time. Alright guys, back into it now. Let's jump into NWT tier list. So this is gonna be very similar to the one you just saw. There's going to be a couple differences, obviously, but we'll get into it right away. So this time what we're going to do is we're going to just show you guys the SSS, and I'm not going to go through it again since you've seen it already. You already know why these characters are where they are. So we're going to make this a little quicker, guys. So we're going to go through it a tad bit faster here. So let's go through that. We need Sasuke Heavy OG in here, SMJ in here, Itachi, there you are, Sai and Datara. So Sai, we're going to have you right up here, and Sasori. There we go. So this is your first SSS list. So this has not changed very much from Arena. As you can tell, it does scrape over into NWT very similarly. So if you're looking for the reasons, guys, this is it right here, and you can watch the Arena one for every explanation of every character. I've already put them all in there, but that has not changed at all, and they are still some of the best characters in NWT that you're going to get. They're pretty much godly, so have them in your team. You can't go wrong. Alright, so let's go into SS for NWT. Alright, so you heard me. It's Kiba's in there. That's right. You're seeing his picture getting dragged up for a reason. One of the only characters that have instant jutsu, and he does a ton of damage there, so I will say that. The new Boruto as well. There we go. The new Rinne. There you go. That makes your SS group a little smaller than last time, but still extremely powerful characters to use, especially in NWT, because they just bring so much to the table in terms of buffs, debuffs, and damage. Alright, so that is your SS. Let's go into S rank. S rank, where are you? Sasuke. Naruto UR, Naruto Kage. Now remember, NWT, guys, is a little different than Arena because you get more points if your characters stay alive. So it is very important in NWT to have some tanks in your team to make sure that your characters are not dying. That way you can get ahead in points. And also very important, if you do use tribes in NWT, that you're faster than your opponent, because you do get extra 75 points per tribe that you perform in NWT. So keep that in mind, guys. So these characters are based on that as well too. Richimaru OG. Sorry, I'm just going to find these characters real quick and toss them up for you, and then you guys can look at the the S rank. There we go. CM2. Let's see, CM2. Yamato. Suigetsu. The list is getting big, guys, for S especially. And NWT, this makes sense because you need survivors, right? And you need nukes at the same time. So more than Arena even, I think it matters here who you have on your team. Alright, OG Datara, Neji, where are you? Neji, there you are. Tobi, Kakazu, Kovidmaru, and lastly, Jiraiya. Damn, that's a big list. Okay, so all these characters belong there because they either bring the buffs that I was referring to, or the damage, or their survivability. So again, you want to make sure, guys, that when you are doing NWT, you watch my NWT video. It's under the guides PvP list, I think, actually, under the playlist for that, and you can see what I'm talking about. You want to essentially have a nuke, a stunner, or a debuffer, or a buffer, and a tank in there. And the tank is there primarily to soak damage because it is random. It's not selective order, and the enemies is controlled by the AI. So they sometimes attack the tank only, and you'll survive, giving you more points. So these characters will bring a lot to your table. If you have any of these, definitely put them on your team. If you have any of these above, obviously they take priority. All right, so A+. Let's see what we got here. Hinata, Karin. Now Karin's an interesting one. I'm going to talk about her real quick. The reason why she's there is because her buffs only apply if there's 6 or less opponents on the field, and because you're only fighting 3 people, her buffs instantly kick in and actually does quite a bit of guard rate support and damage reduction rate support. So I just wanted you guys to know she is a garbage character. Obviously we talk about that a lot, but in NWT she does shine quite a bit, as does B. So let's see, Itachi. Who else we got here? Naruto Berserk, Kankuro, Haku. There you are. Sarada, you are. Rock Lee, Kabuto, Naruto SR, and Old School Sarada. Alright guys, there is your A+. Again, if you want to know why these characters belong there, watch the arena portion of this. I go through every single character and what kits they bring to the game and why they belong where they do, and you'll get a better idea and a better sense of why these guys are placed where they are. But this is a very good list, guys. Definitely follow it. Pretty much in agreement with all of it. So Binato has done a great job on updating that. We've kind of reviewed it together, and this is what we've come up with here. Okay, so let's see, Blossom. I'm going to go ahead and put them up here now, guys. Tsunade, Chakra Battery, not bad. Kisame, honestly, like, he's just good for survival and chakra down, which does help in NWT, because if you go first and somebody has instant jutsu, you can reduce their chakra, and they won't have instant jutsu anymore. So there's your A units, guys. And then B, we're talking about Mitsuki, Mama Sakura, the new D version, Sakura Harano, the OG version, Tenten, Shikamaru. Where are you? There you are. Zabuza, Konin, Sasori, and Konohamaru. There we go. And then see, you got the same version. That they don't change pretty much throughout the whole thing here. Oh no, wait, I take that back. They do change. There we go. Here's and gets a level up. So that is, guys, your NWT list right there. Alright guys, back here again. Now we're going to be covering the Abyss. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit of a different tier list, but the SSS have not changed at all. So we're going to go ahead and add these guys back up here like we've been doing. And we're going to go ahead and talk about Abyss and why these characters belong here. Now Kirin is back on the list. Sasuke Kirin, where are you? There you go. Because of the buffs that he brings and the stuns and the fact that he does damage reduction rate on the opponents. And he's just a fantastic overall character. So he belongs in PvP Triple S for sure. And of course, Sai is going to sit up here with the mecha. As you can see here, the only unit that's a SR, guys, is Sai, and that shows how valuable he is. I hope it does, at least for you. All right, so let's put these guys up here. Data are still one of the best nukes. AoE power creep character. Heavy and Kakashi still one of the best single target character nukes in the game. Not if you're brand new though. I mean, they still apply technically, but you want to wait for unless you have them a 4-star, you want to wait for the newer power creep characters. SMJ for Abyss is fantastic for keeping you alive and healing himself. Itachi will just give you the best buffs and best AoE in the game. And then Sai, of course, his LB2 chakra. Alright, that takes care of the Abyss, guys. Let's jump into the next one. Now this one is a little, this one I could argue. He could sit on SSS as well. SS, sorry, as well too, but you know, we're going to put him there for now. But he is arguably an SSS character as well too, quite honestly, and I think he'll be like that for every event except for FG. Gara, OG Jiraiya. Now this man deserves some credit in Abyss. Giving you more tribe gauge and giving you all those buffs, definitely a plus. OG Datara, there you are. What else we got here? Pain. Not me, Pain, this Pain. Kamui, there you are. And then we have CM2, who definitely deserves it. Again, one of the best stuns in the game. Highest percentage in terms of stuns, at least because it's built-in status effect up. So let's see what else we got here. Mama Sakura, for sure. The new Naruto, Boruto are going to be sitting up here as well, too. Highly deserved. They're great characters. So where's Boruto? Boruto, there you are. Okay, and then we got the new Naruto Rinne. Okay, so these guys are your SSS guys. So these guys here, pretty much, if you have these characters, you have a good chance of beating Abyss. They just bring you everything: the stuns, the buffs, the debuffs, you know, everything you need to do in terms of beating your opponent, plus some power creep numbers and status effect rates. So really, really good characters there, guys. Again, no specific order, just but where they belong. All right, so let's go to S now. Now Sasuke here will have some debuffs and gives you the New King power. Shikamaru plays a huge role because depending on the Abyss, he gives a ton of buffs for T units and does the highest percentage damage reduction rate on an opponent, plus a Shadow Stitch. Toby, again, we talked about it, damage rate reduction on D units, plus offers you a stun and a burn. Kakuzu still a very heavy nuke, so we're going to add him in here as well too. Hidan, tanky, nuke, buffs all A units and has status suppression. Naruto, tanky T unit against D units. Blossom for tribe gauge. Tribe gauge, guys, is huge for Abyss. So if you're not running a tribe gauge character, you may want to reassess how you're running it. Sarada, you are. And Naruto Kage, because he is killer in there. So there's your S, guys. That is your Abyss S rank right there. Okay. Let's jump into A+. Now let's see if I can just drag these guys up. Alright, so Darui, Itachi, I'm sorry guys. It's late and I'm doing this. And I haven't had my coffee late at night. I usually do one before I do my video so I can stay up and do this, but here we are. So I will mess up some names accidentally. I apologize in advance. Kobimaru, Boruto, OG Boruto, there you go. Still one of the better nukes out there. OG Sarada, great for debuffing and buffing your units, especially against D units. Berserk Naruto, good basic nuke with good numbers, but not the power creep numbers. Naruto UR, limited character, kind of fallen off quite a bit. A, really good stunner, stays alive, and has good buffs for A units for survivability. So Getsu, mini tank, a really good tank as a matter of fact. Haku, in case you need to buff your A units. Where is Haku? There you are. And then we have B and Neji to round off and finish off the A+ rank. There you go, guys. That's your A+. Now with A, we're going to have Papa Sasuke here. We're not taking into account tribes, guys. Keep that in mind. This is strictly for people just putting characters in their roster without tribes even. So Papa Sasuke would be higher if you put the Connected by Feelings tribe in there, but we're not counting that when we do this tier list, okay? Just an FYI. It's just per character, not per tribe. Yamato. Because if that was the case, then Orochimaru, Tsunade, and Jiraiya would all be up for the signing one. They're still probably one of the best Abyss tribes in the game. All right, sorry guys. Let's go into this here guy. Asuma. There you go. Kiba. Kankaro. Hinata. Hinata, where are you? I know you're here somewhere. There you are. Sorry, it's alphabetical, and as I go through the list, I keep forgetting where people are being placed. Okay, and then Jugo. And then lastly, Naruto SR for being the hybrid tank nuke. Still a decent character, especially for new characters. All right, there is your A list, guys. And now we're going to complete the the B list. 10-10 next. Zabuza. Sakura Uchiha. And Choji for his tribe gauge. Alright, there's your B, guys. Now let's get into C real quick. Mitsuki, Kisame, and Shino. And then lastly, we're going to finish off D here with every single character that's left. Pretty useless characters in Abyss. I mean, except for maybe Sasori. If he dies, he's decent. But everyone else here pretty much sits at the bottom of the food chain. Alright, guys. There's that one there. I'm going to go ahead and save that. Last one, we're going to be doing FG next, so let's reset this again. Now this is going to look completely different. The FG is a whole different animal, so let's go presentation mode and put in the characters that belong there. Actually, I take that back. It's not completely, I'm looking at it again, it's not completely different. It is different though, but it's not completely different. You still got some of the major key players and all the content. And if you notice that these three right here have been there, four of these guys have been there the whole time. The only person that kind of makes a new appearance here is CM2, right there. And then, of course, Sai. Sai is crucial, guys. So get him up if you don't have him. There is your SSS list. These guys are going to pretty much dominate every content, every shinobi you're fighting, as long as you have them there. Alright, now let's go into SS. Now this is a little different. This is actually where the difference starts noticing. So Sasuke Revenge will actually be there. Haku, believe it or not, is one of the best characters in the game for FG because of his buffs and debuffs that he offers. For A units and debuffs on T units. Boruto is still one of the best nukes in the game, plus gives attack up. Kamui is still one of the best buffers in the game, especially if you can kill an opponent. Data is still the best crit damage, crit rate up buffer in the game. Kirin, undoubtedly one of the best buffers and nukers in the game for AoE, even without the power creep percentages. Pain, really good nuke for against these. The brand new Naruto and Boruto are both going to be sitting there. They're great. They do so much damage and they bring so much to the table, guys. As is the brand new Naruto Rinne, not because of his confuse or anything. It's also because he brings a lot of debuffs to the team, and if he can kill an opponent, he actually does a ton of buffs on himself too. So definitely worth it. So that actually finishes off your SS, guys. There you go. So pretty much if you have these people in your team, you pretty much have a win as long as your power sits around, let's say, 400 plus. There you go. 400k plus, that is, not 400 plus like actual 400 plus. But you guys already knew that. So let's jump into S. Kiba, Jiraiya, where are you? There you go, Jiraiya. Shikamaru plays a major role. He's essentially the opposite of what Haku is in terms of a nuke, but he brings a ton of damage to D units. So, like for example, the Danzo one, he's invaluable. So you guys should be building him if you're doing the Danzo FG. Neji, there you go. Kakazu, Sasori, B, and Naruto Berserk. Where are you? There you go. Naruto Berserk. SMN. Definitely a really good nuke for this Danzo one, guy. So definitely use him. Tobi's another great nuke for this Danzo fight and Gaara fight. Itachi's not bad if you have him against Gaara. Where is it? Itachi? I know you're in here. There you are. So nowadays, if you don't have Sai, you need a battery for energy to pull off a Jutsu. Really good. Tamari and Tenten combination is really good. They increase all attack units attack up, and Tenten does the same with her LB2, giving every unit attack up. So the two of them together is actually a tactic a lot of people do use, especially free to play. Kabuto, great nuke for D units. And damage reduction rate as well. And then lastly, Rock Lee. So there is your S rank, guys. So as you can see, completely different in most regards in comparison to what the last three categories were. So I'll put these together. There you go. Again, not in any order, guys. Feel free to, as long as you have these units, you should be able to beat Abyss, or sorry, FG if you were 430 plus, I'd say. So a little higher if you don't have the SS and triple S, but still very manageable with these units. Okay, A plus, Mama Sakura. We're gonna just do this quickly, guys. Here, Sarada. Let's put her up here. Who else do we got? Sarada UR, the other version of her. Chio and Hidan. Believe it or not, they're actually both pretty decent in this. Especially if you're fighting D units, and for Hidan A units. But Chio, definitely highly recommend getting her up there if you don't have a good T nuke. She's actually gotten a lot better. Naruto Kage for honestly, guys, Naruto Kage I don't even know if should be in this list. You probably don't want to use him, but hey, if that's all you have, he's at least gonna nuke A units for you. Kankuro, again, somebody who's decent, but you have to kill opponents in order to take advantage of him. And if you're not killing one of the two, you're really not taking advantage of what he has to offer. Hinata is still great for crit, and Naruto S are good for hybrid, but you're probably not going to use them for hybrid. You're going to probably use them for nuking. So this here, guys, SMJ, all these A, B, and C's and D's, guys, are mostly all going to be tanks. They don't really bring anything to FG, so you don't want to use them unless you have no choice, which means you're a brand new player and that's the only roster you have. You're not really doing much with D units in in FG, which is unfortunate. I wish there was a reason to use them, but there really is not. Sasuke Ebi, Richimaru, and Darui. There we go. And then B rank, Choji and Blossom, only because they give you tribe gauge up, guys. The only reason why they're up here. And then for C rank, I mean, Sasori you could use for his defense down if he dies, but again, it's a crapshoot, and if your Sasori's too high up in level, sometimes he doesn't get killed. So there's a lot of reasons why he's down there. Let's see, Asuma, Jugo, there we go, and Mitsuki. Okay, and then lastly the D rank, guys. Pretty much everybody on this list here is D. Not very useful at all. Conan, I mean, you could argue she has damage reduction rate, but it doesn't stack, so kind of makes it hard to say yes to that. All right, there you go, guys. That is essentially your your FG team. I say Abyss again. FG team. So this is the tier rank for all of them. If you guys need to take a look at this, remember it's on Reddit. Shout out to Binato for keeping up with that. But it's up there for you if you need it. I'm gonna go ahead and save this, guys. We're gonna go ahead and call this FG. Save, and we're done. Thanks, guys. It's Payne. Have a great day, everybody. Enjoy this tier list. Talk soon.